Hey, it's time for a freaking winning streak. Lions football.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening, everybody? Matt Dery with you, Locked On Lions, a Tuesday edition. Tuesday, November 8th, Election Day. Go out and vote, everybody. Wednesday, November 9th. It is indeed Matt Dery, Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network. I think I said that already. What's happening? Hope everybody is doing well and feeling good following Sunday's win over the Packers. We got a jam-packed show today. Tomorrow, Brad Spielberger from PFF. Thursday, Lauren Cox from Locked On Bears to do the crossover. So much to discuss. We got to give you the PFF top 5 and bottom 5 from Sunday. Bears hype is real. I'm getting texts from friends of mine. Oh my gosh, we can't win Sunday against the Bears. Oh. I got some Justin Fields stats for you that I think will settle some people down a bit on this guy. Oh my gosh, he's like the second coming of Michael Vick all of a sudden. He's a Pro Bowler. Settle down. He's not terrible, but come on now. And also, I got to talk about what's going on in Indianapolis and compare it to what's going on here in Detroit. We will do that as well today here on Locked On Lions. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional therapy done securely online, available to people worldwide. And they have a special offer for my listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/lockedon. You can follow us on Twitter at Dery Speaks, Dery Speaks, at Locked On Lions on Twitter, the Matt Dery Facebook fan page. And as always, we are on YouTube, Locked On Lions YouTube channel, where you can watch us, comment, etc. All right, so I get a text message today from a buddy of mine named Al. And Al is a listener of the show and everything else. And I get this text, and I'm going to call him out because I love him like a brother. And he says, where is it? Anyone who thinks Bears won't win is nuts. And sends me this Pro Football Talk tweet about how the Bears are on pace to set a new NFL record for rushing yards in a season. Of course, a lot of hype about Chicago right now. Even though they lost this past week to Miami, the Bears are putting up ridiculous rushing numbers led by Justin Fields, Khalil Herbert, David Montgomery. All these guys are killing it in the ground game. And folks in Chicago, including the Cap man, David Kaplan from ESPN 1000, they're all saying it. The Bears have a quarterback now. The Bears are for real. Their offense is so explosive. Oh, blah, blah. Bottom line is they have the same amount of wins, or they have one more win than the Lions. The Bears are sitting at 3-6, and the Lions are at 2-6. Chicago, of course, is not trying because they've traded the likes of Robert Quinn, last week Roquan Smith. But, look, the Bears are not as pathetic as they've been the last few years under Matt Nagy. Matt Eberflus, the former Colts defensive coordinator, seems to be a decent hire as a head coach. Their offense is now tailored to Fields, and they've got all these designed runs, and things seem to be working pretty well for Chicago on the offensive side. But I'm here to tell you right here, right now on Tuesday, and I could be wrong. We'll talk to Brad about it tomorrow. We'll talk to Lauren about it on Thursday. I think the Lions are going to win this weekend. I think the road jinx is going to end Sunday at Soldier Field. I'm not guaranteeing a win. I'm not saying, put me down for a guarantee. I'm not pulling a Lomas guarantee in Philly. I'm not doing that. Dan, I'm not doing that. But what I am saying is I think the Lions can win. I do. I'm not buying this Bears hype. They're playing better. Yes, they are. Fields and the designed runs and the all redone offense, and they seem to be Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet. They just got Chase Claypool. All right, they're not as bad as they were at the start of the year. They've improved. But it's time for the Lions under Dan Campbell, and I know it hasn't happened yet, and we are in November of his second season. It is time for Detroit to win on the road. They didn't do it last year. They haven't done it this year. The streak must come to an end at some point, and I think it's going to happen this Sunday. All right, right off of Lakeshore Drive there, right off of Lake Michigan. Right there at the spaceship. If you haven't been to Soldier Field, it's a giant spaceship now. I think the Lions can do this. Future head coach Aaron Glenn, he's seen Justin Fields in action this year, up close and personal. That would be week 1, Jalen Hurts, same offense. Read option. Hurts destroyed the Lions. You have to figure this time around, future head coach Aaron Glenn, Lions defensive coordinator, got a game ball. I got a game ball. Dan Campbell, I got a game ball. I wish I had a ball here. Do I have a football anywhere here? Here, I'm going to hold up my package of Brock's Tailgate candy corn. I got a game ball. Aaron Glenn, AG. Come on, Aaron. Come up with a game plan. Don't let Fields beat you with his legs. Make him stand in the pocket and throw the football. I got Bears fans on Twitter at Dery Speaks. Oh, I'm never listening to you again. You have no credibility. You don't know anything about football. Oh, okay. Okay. Justin Fields, when it comes to NFL passer rating, all right, here are some of the guys at the top of the list when you talk about passer rating in the league. Tua, 115.9. Hurts, 107.8. Those two guys are MVP candidates. Geno Smith, 107.2. Completely turned around his career. Patty Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jimmy Garoppolo, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Andy Dalton, Ryan Tannehill, Jared Goff is top 11. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right, Jared, 91.8. I keep scrolling some more. Then I get down to number 22 on this list, Justin Fields, 85.0 passer rating. Only worse than him by 0.1 of a percentage point, Stat Padford, Matt Ryan benched, Carson Wentz hurt, Russell Wilson, please, Davis Mills, Mitch Trubisky, Cooper Rush, Baker Mayfield, and Joe Flacco. All right, the likes of Jacoby Brissett, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, who's been pretty bad this year, Danny Dimes, and Derek Carr are ahead of Justin Fields. Heck, Aaron Rodgers, who's been horrible, is ahead of Justin Fields. All right, stop it with this Justin Fields love. I'm not slandering him. He's improved. He's dangerous outside the pocket. When he's running, he's good. But if the Lions can figure out a way to keep him in the pocket and take some of that run away, I'm not saying he's going to run for 178 yards again like he did last week, but the Dolphins had no answer for him. Now, the Dolphins were also the same team 2 weeks ago who allowed the Lions to score 27 first-half points and touchdowns on their first 2 drives. I think it can be done this weekend. I think the Lions can win. That's all I'm saying. Locked On Lions is sponsored by BetterHelp. All right? Life's going to throw you some curveballs, some ups and downs. I'm telling you, BetterHelp is the place to go to get some help. All right? Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learning productive coping skills. And there's no better place to get those skills than BetterHelp. Whether or not you've been in therapy personally, hey, you got to know it's okay to not be okay sometimes and to talk to somebody. It's helped me. I've been in therapy for years, all right? Everyone deserves to feel their best, and BetterHelp makes it easier to get started. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp's match millions of people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available online 100%. All the benefits of in-person therapy, plus it's more convenient, more accessible, and more affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It could not be simpler. All right. Get unstuck with BetterHelp. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. All right, so the Lions are feeling pretty good about themselves all of the sudden as the team is back in Allen Park tomorrow, getting ready for, as I said, oops, I forgot to put the BetterHelp overlay out there. I'll do that right now. As the Lions look to get to their second straight win, start a winning streak, and get out of the cellar in the NFC North as they sit at 2-6, taking on the Bears in Chicago this weekend. This morning, Dan Campbell was on 97.1 The Ticket. Just one quick update. He said Jamison Williams likely going to be back now in December. Those of you holding out hope that J-Mo would return on Thanksgiving Day against the Bills, that doesn't sound like it's going to happen. It sounds like we're looking at December for the return of Jamison Williams. So we will see where that goes, but Lions need him. They need some help out on the perimeter. Amon-Ra St. Brown has not been 100% in weeks. Tom Kennedy is having to play a lot. DJ Chark is hurt. Quintez Cephas is hurt. Josh Reynolds didn't play last week. That's the one big concern I have for this weekend against the Bears is if those guys are not healthy, who's Jared Goff going to throw the football to? We saw this past weekend the Bears can be had in the passing game defensively. I used to be a big Eddie Jackson fan. He's not what he used to be, but we'll get more of a preview on that coming up on Thursday. All right, top 5 and bottom 5 Lions performers from our friends at ProFootballFocus.com, PFF.com, from this Sunday's win, 15-9 over the Green Bay Packers. James Mitchell, your new tight end for the Lions, 84.8 was the highest ranked Lion offensive player this past weekend. Penei Sewell at 79.5 came in second. Justin Jackson, running back, third, 79.1. Frank Ragnow, 76.1. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, 74.8. Those are your top 5 Lion performers from PFF from this freaking weekend against the Packers. Bottom 5 performers. Brock Wright, backup tight end, 46.4. Jared Goff, 48.0. Oh, good God. Tom Kennedy, 50.6. Jonah Jackson, 57.1. And Jamal Williams, 60.8. Those are the bottom 5 offensive performers, according to PFF, from this past Sunday against the Packers. Dun, 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 dun. As far as on the defense for the Lions, we knew this. Kirby Joseph, who's played great at free safety. Please, Lions, keep him at free safety. I know Tracy Walker will be back next year, but I like Joseph on the way back of that defense. 90.1, highest graded Lion on either side. C.J. Moore played 23 snaps last week and registered an 87.4. Jerry Jacobs, 83.3. Good to have him back. Derek Barnes, 76.1. And Julian Okwara, 72.1. Your bottom 5 Lions defenders, ain't no party like a Will Harris party. 50.5 came in last. 51.8 for Malcolm Rodriguez before he left with that arm injury. Isaiah Buggs, 57.3. Gaines media poster boy and close, warm personal friend of Rob Diddy, Alex Anzalone, 58.7. And Benito Jones, 60.2. I didn't realize this, but Amani Oruwariye only played 1 defensive snap on Sunday. How about that? Mike Hughes played a ton. Okuda played a ton. Jerry Jacobs played a lot. Will Harris. Oruwariye only 1 snap on defense this past Sunday. Those are your top 5 and bottom 5 Lions performers on offense and defense from this past Sunday against the Packers. And I got to be honest with you, this Packers meltdown is so much fun. It's so much fun. Our buddy Peter Bukowski, if you go to Locked On Sports on Twitter, watch his rant about Aaron Rodgers. He's like, he couldn't even score more than 9 points against the Lions, a historically bad Lions defense. And here we're going crazy because the team finally got off the schneid. They finally ended their 5-game skid. And now they have a chance here to get a road win in Chicago and actually go on a win streak. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of hype around the Bears. I get it. I'm not buying it. I'm just not. I don't think they're that good. And I think Fields was a really good college quarterback at Ohio State. But in some of the games that I've watched this year, and I know lately he's been better, and they've catered the offense around him, and they're playing better. But I think if you can get some pressure on him, especially up the middle, I know that's not the Lions' forte. Heck, we know that. Interior pressure is not their strong suit. But this isn't backyard football. This isn't 6th grade, hike it and go. You still have to be able to convert some passing plays. And I don't know if the Bears can do that without Fields having everything to be designed for him and rollouts. That's great, but eventually the gimmick stuff wears out in this league. Coaches catch up to that stuff. I'm hoping the Lions do. So I like their chances this weekend. DeAndre Swift apparently is going to play more. St. Brown continues to get a little bit more healthy. Goff was brutal this past weekend, and they still won. So the kicking game is going to be huge. That's going to be cold. I looked it up. It's going to be like 35 at the game Sunday. It's going to get cold. Maybe Michael Badgley will decide the game. A money badger. All right, coming up next, I got to comment on something that's going on around the league. This is what's going on in Indianapolis, and I will compare it to something here in Detroit. But first, let's talk about our friends at PrizePicks. Oh, yeah. Where's my thumbnail for PrizePicks? There it is. Thank you very much. PrizePicks.com is a lot of fun, all right? Daily fantasy, making entries and going up against the projections. It's awesome. And tonight, if you want to watch some NBA basketball, you want to bet on over-under amount of points, let's say it's Kevin Durant, 25 points, you can do that. What about LeBron? Do the Lakers even play anymore? Anyway, it's fun to do player projections. You got to do it at prizepicks.com. You pick 2 to 5 players. If they score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Any sport you want. NFL, NBA, NHL. All right, Wings are playing well Thursday night at the LCA against the Rangers. You can put some money down on some of your favorite players at prizepicks.com. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. Don't forget to enter promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. All right, so what's going on in Indianapolis is incredible. And we hear all of the time, especially if you listen to Locked On Lions or you watch us or you listen to The Ticket or you follow the Lions. What do you hear all the time? All right. What do your fellow fans even say sometimes? They say it's the Fords. Whether it was William Clay Ford, whether it was Martha Firestone Ford, whether it's Sheila Ford Ham. There are fans that believe that this ownership is cursed. They should sell the team. All of those things. Always starts at the top. You know, the one constant. You hear that all the time. Ownership. What's happening in Indianapolis lately is unhinged ownership. Jim Irsay. I think Jim Irsay seems like a nice guy. He's kind of funny. He's a little interesting and original. Jim Irsay this season has himself benched Matt Ryan. All right, this is the owner telling. This is like facts. This is journalism. Reported. Jim Irsay has gone to Frank Reich and Chris Ballard and said, bench Matt Ryan. They did. The next week, fired the offensive coordinator, Marcus Brady. They did. This past weekend, Sam Ehlinger going up against Bill Belichick and the Patriots on the road was an unmitigated disaster. And so what did Irsay do? He fires Frank Reich. It wasn't working anymore with Frank Reich. Probably a good coach, but, all right, Frank Reich's out. Chris Ballard, the GM, is going to stay. Jim Irsay does not go out and hire Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator, John Fox, who's like an offensive assistant, who, of course, has had coaching experience, Reggie Wayne, who's on the staff. Heck, call up Jim Caldwell, who took the Colts to a Super Bowl. Ask him to help you. He would have done it. No. Jim Irsay goes out and hires Jeff Saturday from ESPN, the former Colts center. Jeff Saturday is extremely well-liked in that community. Been there forever. He retired a Colt, went to TV, still lives in Indy, all of these things. But he's going to take over the reins as head coach. He hasn't coached in 3 years, and the last time he coached at any level, it was high school. Wow. My son is a huge Colts fan. He's shaking his head. He can't believe it. Like, are the Colts just tanking to try to get C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young or one of these quarterbacks? I don't know. They're going to need to draft one. But plucking a coach out of the TV booth makes you think about when Bill Ford Jr. went to Dad and said, let's get Matt Millen to run the franchise and be the GM coming out of the broadcast booth. We remember how that turned out. But again, Matt Millen wasn't standing on the sidelines with a headset on. He knew he could evaluate some talent. It was terrible. But this is unprecedented. And it made me think about what would be the equivalent here in Detroit. Would it be Sheila calling up on a late Sunday night, Lomas Brown? Oh, hey, Sheila. And saying, Lomas, we want you to come out of the radio booth and coach the team. That would be the equivalent. You imagine Lomas with a headset on? Ben, let's run the ball, Ben. That's a big ask. Choking here. That's the equivalent. Lomas coaching the Lions. Or heck, TJ Lang. TJ's on the sidelines. TJ's never coached before. It's amazing. Colts and Raiders Sunday is something to watch because the Raiders are a dumpster fire. And Jeff Saturday's, I guess, his first order of business, he's hired some 30-year-old offensive assistant that's never called plays before. Parks and Rec, to run the offense. Call the plays. We'll see how this goes. All right, thanks for making us your first listen and watching us as well on YouTube, Locked On Lions for a Tuesday. Brad Spielberger from PFF tomorrow.